over to you.
Morg, play the jingle.
Good evening, ladies and gents, and welcome back to the Football Booth podcast. My name is Fennon. Alongside me, as always, I have Mayhem. How you doing, mate?
I'm good, mate. I'm good.
I think we're having a bit too much fun there with the football tic-tac-toe. I didn't want to stop, if I'm honest.
I know, yeah. Stay tuned for us racking our brain. It's meant to be meant to do like 5 rounds, and we just spent half hour on one. So
Feels like my brain's already frazzled, and like we've just come on.
but at least it isn't. Obviously, it's all the craze at the moment. But like watching videos of picking like PSG and Real Madrid, like you're really gonna fucking struggle to get one of those. But if anyone wants to be quickfire and hit us with an Aston Villa European Championship winner after we've just spent 30 minutes of our lives trying to find one, go on ahead.
And we'll give you a clue. It's someone who was on loan for a season.
That's always the way.
See, that's what it came down to. It took a loan signing to actually crack the code. But we agreed for it to be a stalemate in our first ever game of football tic-tac-toe, so...
Stay tuned to the end of the episode where we can waste another half hour.
Yeah, so excuse me if there's a few cuts just from us trying to rack our brains for a particular name.
Fact check.
Wiki. Well, as you can hear, we don't have Cam with us tonight. He's just out, really. Like, I don't really know what his excuse is. I guess he's had a long day at work and he's just put his feet up, kick back and chillaxing.
Probably something like that.
Yeah. Premier League season. It's finally over. Feels like it's been a long season, but we finally saw the curtain draw yesterday as to what has been a very eventful season, as we expected.
I think this is a perfect opportunity to say, don't stick another World Cup in the middle of the season. It's shit. Have them at the end of the season. And if that means that you've got to potentially figure out a way of playing with like closed roofs or something, or filtering something into the stadium to keep the players, or rest breaks or whatever it needs to be, it was good. It's a World Cup. There was obviously a lot of hate around Qatar. I think it should go everywhere. It's a World Cup. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia that's exploding at the moment. And has F1 there now, and obviously they own Newcastle and stuff like that. They should be considered. It's a football competition. We'll avoid the human rights stuff that inevitably comes with it, but. There needs to be something that says, right, the format of the tournament is it's played from June through July, and we're not going to bump it in the middle of December again because it just elongates the season to be a bit too much. We're at the back end of May. We've still got to wait a couple of weeks for all the European finals to be wrapped up. It just feels like sitting here now on the 29th of May, everything should be done.
Yeah, exactly. No, I just think there should have been much better structure and organisation around the World Cup in Qatar. Like you said, the fact that they had to move it from the usual time of the year that the World Cup takes place, which is June, July, and it's been moved to November, December, which is pretty much right before the first half of the season is out, and so... I don't understand, they were talking about, having inside stadiums where, they were played in a cooler climate and, just, never came to fruition, and it was basically, fuck it, it's less warm outside, so let's just put up with it. But, I'm hoping that we don't have to really see a World Cup structured around those sort of stipulations for a while. Like you said, I'm completely open for the World Cup to be played wherever, and the prestige of football deserves to be shared all over the world, but to a certain extent there should be really some form of structure around it where it's played at a logical period of the year.
Yeah, I'd love another one like in South Africa. I think it was a brilliant World Cup. And again, it should go around, And you think about how big...
But ban the Vuvuzelas, please ban the Vuvuzelas.
think about how big like the one that was obviously in Asia was as well. That was that Japan? Was it that
Korea,
we was
Japan,
in?
fantastic
Yeah.
World Cup.
So it should be done that way. But again, in South Africa and in Japan, again, I know that it's not. I mean, I don't know the heat of South Africa is pretty hot. Japan a wee bit, not so much, but they still found a way of making it so it was in the right slot and it didn't affect the domestic season as this one has. So hopefully moving forward, that'll all be considered. I mean, you're hosting the World Cup long before it actually gets here, so you're given a fair amount of time to get this in place and get the structure that's needed, so we don't have to, it's maybe me talking as a Scotsman, but I love the World Cups, love watching them. Don't really get very invested.
No.
Not unless England are in the last four, and then you're like, oh god, anyone but them, which have just alienised pretty much all of our fan base, probably. But never mind. Yeah,
They need to learn.
How else would they learn?
You got to learn today.
So yeah, but hopefully that gets sorted. But yeah, that the season just seems to have gone on, and yeah, it all come to an interesting sort of. I'm going to say it was anticlimactic, but it was looking like there was a wee bit of jeopardy, and then Decore hits a scorcher.
Did you watch that game?
I was kind of like flicking between, because obviously I knew that Harvey Barnes had put Leicester up, and I wanted Leicester to go down because of Brendan Rodgers. I know he's not their manager anymore, but still, get down. All the Leicester fans that were saying that Leicester were a bigger club than Celtic. Yeah, enjoy Millwall away next year. The humongous club you are. And
all right, Leicester, how's it going? All right.
So obviously, we were sort of looking back and forth, and Everton to continue their their long continuous streak in the top flight was good, and Decore digs them out, and hopefully Everton are a decent sized club. Hopefully they can kind of get themselves together. They spent a lot of money, just spent it poorly, and hopefully I don't think Sean Dyche is going to pull up any trees and get him into that kind of like Roberto Martinez kind of fifth place kind of thing, but I think they should be steady Eddie sort of 9th or 10th, which I think if you asked any Everton fan, they'd snap your hand off for next season.
Yeah, and I think Sean Dyche will be in a much different place than what he was at Burnley, where he was very restricted as to how he can reinforce that Burnley side. It feels like he'll have more of a backing at Everton.
Well, I think that the first thing, honestly, that they need to do, and I don't know how well received this would be by Everton fans, but Calvert-Lewin, I think he needs to go. Like, yes, he's a decent player, but he doesn't play. How many games have you got out of him this season? Like, what? You'd be lucky. I'm guessing it'll be close to being 10, if not less. Constantly injured, just can't seem to get a run. The strikers that you've obviously had Richarlison before he's gone to Tottenham, brung in that. Was it that Malpay from Brighton?
Yeah.
Hasn't really done it. So that they need to go out and I think get someone that's going to give them the likes of 15 goals a season, which isn't an easy thing to come by. But I think someone like your boy at Coventry,
Victor Gyökeres, yeah,
he could be. Obviously, I've watched him a bit this season, especially in the playoffs. He's a class act, and I think he'll be leaving Coventry sort of no matter what. And obviously, with the disappointment of the playoffs, you could probably sneak in there. And I imagine around about the 15-20 million mark would probably be enough for Coventry to part company with him. We've seen the likes of Ivan Toney come up in recent years and produce. So I think he's someone that could get you sort of 12 to 15 goals and ease the the goal scoring burden. And Calvert-Lewin, just get him out the door.
Yeah. And then from the other sense of Leicester, you can imagine how many names will be on the radar of many top Premier League clubs this summer, with the likes of Harvey Barnes being looked at, James Maddison being looked at, Jamie Vardy perhaps even as well, Yuri Tielemans, who's always been on the radar.
Tielemans is out of contract, but I see something mental when they were talking. I think I was watching a match today yesterday, and there's 10 players that are all out of contract in the summer. Now, some of them nothing to write home about, like the likes of Johnny Evans. I know he's played a bit, but he's like coming 35, 36. You'd expect that to be, but like that. Sonogru, the centre back, the likes of obviously Yuri Tielemans.
Mm-hmm.
Like for those two players, like two key assets to be in the last year of their contract, it kind of shows the kind of mismanagement of that football club. And you're talking about someone that was winning FA Cups and Premier Leagues within recent history, and they found themselves in this situation and haven't been able to get out. Maddison will go. He won't play another game for Leicester.
No, definitely not.
So you probably imagine the likes of Daka will leave. Harvey Barnes is being linked with Villa, I think. I see.
Okay.
So there's going to be some serious, people looking at the likes of Ndidi. You'd imagine someone will take a punt and see if they can prize him away. Like Castagne, these type of international footballers, you can imagine that people are going to be very interested in, and they're probably going to be interested in leaving the football club. So it'll be interesting to see what team they come out with. I think Vardy will stay. I don't think he'll have too many massively attractive offers. I think he'll probably get a lot of game time down in the Championship, where he was probably going to be used sparingly in the Premier League.
Yeah, but then you think about the rest of the squad. I feel Leicester will find it quite difficult to recover in the Championship next season. Like you said, you named multiple names there, and of course they'll be attracting interest from all over, not just the Premier League but abroad as well. And it's going to be very difficult for them to keep hold of them, especially where you got the likes of Soyuncu, who's out of contract in the summer.
Jose Perez is another one out of contract.
Jose Perez, who's okay, but
yeah, he's not a special player, but in the Championship he'd be perfect.
Yeah, no, he'd be brilliant in the Championship, and he can be quite impactful off the bench, as he has been for Leicester previously. So, yeah, I do really, unless Leicester somehow manage to either retain a big group of those players, or they manage to replace them with sufficient good enough talent who can cut it in the Championship, I think they'll really struggle to bounce back up from the Championship.
Well, what it is a good thing to do is hit reset, and it really and refresh and come up. They do have the likes of that Drewsbury Hall, and if Vardy stays, if they can convince Harvey Barnes to stay another season, so that they could have a decent nucleus for the Championship and develop them on a year, bring in maybe a few players that someone maybe extend Johnny Evans a year, and because he'd probably be okay in the Championship, and then around that bring in you're going to lose Tielemans for free, which is criminal. That guy should have been put on a contract and sold. You would have easily got 20 million for the guy,
if that.
But you can go out and bring in some youth, probably promote a few players, and really come back with a refreshed squad ready to go again. And they've had a fantastic time over the last few years. I think Gary Lineker said it on Match of the Day.
It's been a fairy tale, hasn't it? Yeah.
If you'd have offered him the FA Cup, the Community Shield, and the Premier League, and said they would have been relegated at the end of that, he probably would have took it. So they've had some great moments, but it's also that they'll get the parachute payments. We know that, so it's a good time to hit reset and maybe try and revitalise the squad a bit, and then come back. And we've seen the likes of Newcastle and that do it, so it is possible. And obviously, we've seen this season with the likes of Burnley coming straight back and Sheffield United. So just got to get their house in order. Dean Smith, I think they'll be all right, but they'll be one of the mega favourites to perform well in that division.
Yeah, and joining them are Leeds and Southampton as well, two massive English clubs that have been relegated. What will your thoughts be on those two clubs going straight back up from the Championship next season?
I think Southampton are in a real difficult position because they're going to lose Ward-Prowse, I would imagine. I would imagine someone will come in and take Ward-Prowse. The likes of that Bella Kocher, who's quite highly rated.
Yep.
I imagine people are going to be sniffing around him. Theo Walcott's already said that he isn't renewing his contract. He's going to be playing elsewhere, and he's been playing a lot of them. That they've got a decent, like the likes of Shea Adams should score him a decent amount of goals if they keep him. So I think they're going to lose. Although we've listed a lot of big players from Leicester, I sort of feel like Leicester have the ability to kind of recover that with what they have. The likes of Shrewsbury Hall are maybe players that wouldn't mind staying on, like to Johnny Evans and that. Whereas I think Southampton, they may struggle with who they lose. I mean, Ward-Prowse is the absolute heart and soul of the football club.
Yeah, 100%.
How do you replace him? You can't. You would have to bring in two players, to cover, his work rate, his ability, his dead ball ability. The likes of Elyounoussi will apparently once away after the relegation, so there'll be imagine a lot of people going out from that club as well, and it'll be transitional. So Southampton, they've done it before. They've built up and been down to League One and built all the way back up. So they'll understand the structure and what's needed. But I think they may struggle a wee bit more. They could be the kind of Watford of next season.
Yeah. I'm just thinking of another player there as well, Tino Livramento, who again has been, an outstanding performer for Southampton this year. And again, it's going to be quite difficult to build around what they're left with if they are to hypothetically let go of the likes of Ward-Prowse, and if possible, if Shea Adams goes and Bella Kotchap goes, these are 3-4 key players that Southampton would be keen to build around, but at the same time, there isn't a lot for them to work with at the moment, especially if they do lose those faces.
You wonder what's going to happen with Leeds as well, because obviously Allardyce isn't going to be kept in. He was brought in for one thing, he didn't do it, so they've got to then go and get a manager now.
Yeah,
playing Championship football.
So it's a whole different project with Leeds.
Yeah, I don't know how many of their players they'll lose. I'm sure there'll be some players, maybe like the likes of Rodrigo or whatever, but I think they'll keep the likes of Liam Cooper and Patrick Bamford, and I think these boys will stay around. They just need to find a solid defensive foundation. I think it was something mental, like I was listening, it was like 140 goals they'd conceded since their time back in the Premiership or the Premier League. So crazy amount of goals. Obviously playing Bielsa ball and that attacking style, but never really being able to recover from that sacking. And watching the highlights against Tottenham that have been pretty flat this season, and they made Harry Kane's afternoon easy work because the 2 chances that he was gifted was unbelievable.
Yeah, I was just looking just now because I do recall Leeds making a big signing in January. I think it was a striker from Hoffenheim, and they spent 36 million on him, and I don't think he's played any minutes for Leeds whatsoever. Jorginho Rutter. So he's a Dutch striker. So apparently he played for 30 minutes against Tottenham. But again, with that sort of money, came in January, surely he's going to be another player that will want to be let go. So he's made 10 appearances for Leeds this season, scored no goals. And then to add to that, there'll be players like Jack Harrison, who's been...
I think he'll stay, though.
Do you reckon Jack Harrison will stay?
Yeah. I mean, Luke Ayling, I know that he's been there a while, but he was fucking awful at the weekend. So, go and look for a right back. He was horrendously out of position for both of Kane's goals. I mean, even I don't know if you've seen the Lucas Moura goal, but the defender is woeful. That they're trying to commentate as a mazy run, but he literally beats one man close to the touchline, close to the halfway line, and then he runs from there without actually being challenged. He just runs through the middle, pokes it in. It was just awful. And obviously their keeper, the young keeper's highly rated, although
Meslier, yeah.
when you look at the stats of how many goals he's let in, he may not be as highly rated as he once was, but they've got some work to do. But I don't know. Leeds is such a big football club. I think that
Huge.
Leicester and Southampton, big in their own right. It's been in the Premier League for a long time, but Leeds dwarfs both of them. It's a humongous football club, and you see that of Ellen Road and the fan base, and they'll be, the fan base will be heavily expectant next year. They were whatever it was, like 16 years out the Premier League, back for 3. They'll be expecting to bounce back straight away. So big pressure of whoever takes that job on.
And then going from those that were going down, the fairy tale came true this Saturday. Luton will be a Premier League team next season.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Crazy. Absolutely mental. And obviously, it's good to hear that Tom Lockyer is doing okay, because that was a scary moment.
Absolutely was.
And you kind of have Christian Eriksen vibes, and you were worried, obviously, seeing him being worked off for so long and stretchered out. But thankfully, it seems as if he was in the right place, and he was in good health.
And he's been monumental for Luton this season as well. He's been an absolutely outstanding asset for Luton.
And I think you felt that in all the interviews afterwards. All the players were calling out just how much he meant to the club, and I think even the chief executive said it felt wrong to be celebrating without him. But yeah, what a story! I think either team that had gone up, it would have been a great story. Coventry, obviously, with all their problems of not being able to play at the Rico and then have a pitch because of the Commonwealth Games and all that. But I don't know, it just feels to be a bit more special, a little bit more Cinderella kind of fairy tale that Luton are in the Premier League for the first time. So come on down to Kenilworth Road.
Yep. Don't mind anyone's back garden when you're getting through the away end. Like, it's just all part of the experience.
Don't mind Barbara whacking up her whites. Just get yourself in the away end and watch the footy.
I was watching someone on Twitter who was actually filming themselves going into the away end. I was wondering, like, surely is there any way you can get a drink around here? Like, I was really, really skeptical about it, because I mean, Luton is a possible away day. Like, obviously they're not in the Championship anymore, but my dad's been before, and like, we know it's not a great ground to go to. But because I've always thought about, in the back of my head, like, thinking, yeah, Luton away, got to do it, it'd be an experience. But then, yeah, just looking around the away end, it's literally just a set of stairs. You go up, like, you look over everyone's back garden, everyone's washing lines, and you're straight right into the stand.
Yeah, just knock on Dorothy's window and ask for a juice. Give her a £5. She'll feel a nice plastic beaker for you. You'd be grand.
Do you like lemon squash?
But no, it'll be an experience for some of those international footballers that are used to the new kind of stadiums that everybody has now in these bowls. Like, I mean, you look at Tottenham Stadium; it's a fantastic stadium. It's just a big sort of wavy bowl, and then all of a sudden, they're going to come down to Kenilworth Road. The fans are going to be on. Obviously, they're going to have to expand the stadium, but the fans are going to be right on top of you. It's going to be a real hostile atmosphere, and it'll be interesting. Let's hope they're at home. Normally, they do it's normally like the promoted team against one of the big teams' first game of the season.
Yeah.
So let's hope that Arsenal or City or United or whatever are down there on opening day. It'll be interesting.
It's going to be quite resemblant to when AC Milan had to go to Fratton Park in Europe that one season. And you had the likes of Leicester and Seedorf.
Okay, man. No, saying that, but no, we're not meant to be at the training ground. We're meant to be at their actual stadium. Yeah, Fratton Park is their actual stadium.
What do you mean this is our changing room?
I know, fucking got sheds bigger than this.
I thought. What? So the changing rooms are next to the cellar, are they?
But yeah, great story.
Yeah, unbelievable story. To think that they were in the conference. What was it? 9-10 years ago.
I don't know. It's Football Manager kind of progression, isn't it? Like 10 years to go from the conference to the.
Really is like a proper journeyman save, yeah.
And that and Penza that's been there the whole time, like, cracking story for so really good, one of those feel good football stories. So happy that they've they've got across the line. It'll be interesting to see. I imagine. I mean, this is me just talking pretty ignorantly, but I imagine that it'll be one season and back in the Championship. But fuck it, go and enjoy it. Hopefully they don't pull the gun or sack Rob Edwards if it's going bad. Just let the team go and enjoy that season, and whatever happens, and take the money and change the dynamic of that football club.
No, exactly. I mean, by all means, they won't have the resources that I imagine that Norwich and Sheffield United will have, but by all means, like you said, the experience of being in the Premier League is, it's almost like a once in a lifetime opportunity.
Well, they'll have the smallest budget by an absolute country mile. There'll be probably half the Championship that has a bigger budget, and they'll be in the Premiership. So like the wage structure and everything. So I imagine they'll go and sign a few players, but I imagine a lot of the boys that got them there will be playing in the Premiership, which is great to see.
Yeah.
And hopefully, obviously Forest have done it a different way, and hopefully Luton can kind of go and have that kind of like red-in season, or you're not like me saying it, but like when Swansea come up, have that kind of impact playing their way, because they're going to play direct, which is going to ruffle a lot of feathers, and they're going to play right on top here, and it's going to be nice to see, kind of like a throwback. They're like that kind of like Wimbledon back in the day. That's the kind of
like the Vinnie Jones.
They're going to make it difficult. They're going to get scrappy, and I think they're going to be entertaining games to watch at Kenilworth Road.
They were very intense to watch, especially in that first half against Coventry, where they really roughed them up, and the intensity and the urgency they put in that first half. They easily could have gone 2 or 3 goals up.
Yeah, but I think they did that at the Stadium of Light as well. In the first leg, they were really good in the first half, got the lead, and then right at the end of the half, obviously, Diallo pulled out a fantastic strike to level it, and Sunderland then kicked on. And you felt that's kind of what happened with with the Coventry game. Coventry realised how lucky they were to only be 1 down. They come out and were much the better team, you'd probably say, for the next 3 halves of football in that game. But ultimately, come down to penalties, and they got the job done. The standard of penalties was fantastic.
Yeah, no, it absolutely was. And then going from the Championship, and we had the League One playoff earlier today between Barnsley and Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah.
And again, it looked like another playoff that was going to go to penalties, and then, I hate to say his name, but a certain someone scored a last-minute diving header to send Sheffield Wednesday back up to the Championship.
And yeah, I wanted Wednesday to go up. Like, I have no affiliation to them at all, but you're watching the game football, they're just a team that I wanted. I felt bad for Barnsley. I don't think the red card was a red card.
Did you not think it was a red card?
I don't think so. I think he goes in, but how much of he doesn't really make contact with the guy. You can use all these cliches if he's out of control and all this, but he doesn't really catch the guy. And the biggest game of the season, I just think that the ref's been a little bit gung ho there, showing him the red card. But I mean, Barnsley performed fantastically from that. But maybe if they had 11 men, there would have been a wee bit more energy, and they would have been able to get back into the box at the end of extra time.
They still look pretty strong even after the man got sent off.
But
still looked on top.
Obviously, Windass just getting that run into the box just screamed of maybe tired legs, and they couldn't track him back, and it's ended up costing them. You feel bad for the keeper, because I know the header comes at some pace, but some of the saves that keeper had made in that game, you fancied with how central the header was. He gets hands to it, but he just can't keep it out. But, for Barry Bannon and Darren Moore and all the shit he took after that 4-0 defeat at Peterborough, it was nice. And look, they're back in the Championship, and we'll see how they do. It's a shame that Sheffield United got promoted. It would have been nice to have like a Still City derby back. But
yeah, I know. I see. Josh's old man was there as well. Dean Windass, who's an old favourite of ours. Someone's just been sent off, but I don't know, but I won't concentrating.
Yeah, I mean, he looks like he was loving life. So that'll probably be a great.
See
pub
the size
quiz
of him. I think he's
one.
loving life in general. Yeah.
Be a great pub quiz question when it down the years. Can you name a father and son duo that have scored in playoff finals? Obviously, Dean Windass for Hull, and then his son that's popped up for Wednesday.
True story. Nevertheless, come on Wednesday. And then what was almost, we had the League Two playoff between Stockport County and Carlisle United. Carlisle United, who have been in League Two for the last couple of seasons. Stockport County, I do believe, just came up to League Two this season.
Mm-hmm.
And what was very almost, again, another fairy tale outcome of Stockport earning back-to-back promotions. Carlisle came out on top, again, through penalties. And so I feel it's quite an accomplishment in itself that Carlisle managed to fight their way out of League Two finally and are up in the third tier of the English football pyramid now.
Yeah, I mean, going back years, they were stuck in League Two for a wee while, and they've become a wee bit of a yo-yo team. So
Yeah.
we'll see how they handle themselves in the division above again. But yeah, Stockport, for that division, obviously they've been away a little while in that National League. You kind of forget the size of the football club for where it is. So it would have been decent for them to get over the line. But yeah, when it gets to the penalties, it is an absolute lottery. It's so cruel for a team to lose that way in a playoff final, but it's got to be decided. And Carlisle get the job done. I do have a little bit of a soft spot for Carlisle because way back in the day, FIFA, God, I don't know, Rooney and Ronaldinho were cutting about the covers. That's how long ago it was. But me and someone that's been on the pod before, Sam, that used to be the team we started with doing our career modes when they had Eddie Stowbort as a sponsor. Used to be Carlisle. So I don't know. I always tend to have a wee look for them. I mean, they've got the most awful ground that you could ever wish to go to. But yeah,
still hasn't been added to FIFA, by the way.
Shocked. But yeah, I was happy to actually see him get it done.
Good stuff. Good stuff. I tell you what, did you see the size of the Stockport keeper? Guy is roided to fuck. He was
Don't
huge.
call him out.
No, it's a compliment by all means, but fucking the size of him.
Oh, he's going to get piss tested now after he smashed up the changing room after they lost. Big load of roid rage.
Fucking F5 the final penalty taker. He looked massive. I'd be scared to take a penalty just by looking at him like bollocks. Notice he didn't move that much for the penalty, so just flopped over to one side. Oh, gone the wrong way.
He done all right against Salford, and then in the penalties when he knocked him out.
He pulled off a few big saves in that playoff final as well. Actually, got to give it to him.
Couldn't get it done.
Couldn't get the job done. So, but I don't think I shouldn't. I don't think from a Stockport fan perspective, I'd like to think that for them to get to the playoff final in their first season back in the Football League is a massive accomplishment in itself, and they'll only build on that and they'll improve and they'll go again next season, and perhaps fingers crossed they find themselves back up there in that playoff bracket, or if better they go straight up to League One, because again they're a team that years and years ago were in the Championship, but again were quite like a yo-yo team where they'd bounce back and forth between Championship and League One. I don't even think it's called Championship and League One at that point, but they were a name that you'd see quite frequently that would go up and down between the two divisions.
Yeah, and it just shows how easy it can be to slip out. You look at Notts County, a big football club, in and around Nottingham in there, and obviously they've just come back, had to do it on penalties. Penalties been the theme of these
it really
playoffs.
Has, yeah.
I mean, I did fear for Notts County. Did you see the Notts County player that Panenkered in the shootout and he hit the bar?
Yeah, John Bostock. Yeah, the old fucking Tottenham hot prospect. Yes, I remember, yeah. What a knobhead.
got to have some balls to do that in a shootout, and then you miss it.
I think I see now why Tottenham released him.
Yeah.
Well, we usually start our episodes talking about your beloved team, Joel. And I thought we could perhaps leave it best for last, in a sense, because I'm pretty sure we want to move on to a bit of tic-tac-toe.
Yeah.
But you wrapped up the league campaign the best way possible. Comfortable 5-0 victory over Aberdeen, who ultimately finished third place in the end, I believe. So, again, it was a massive, massive result. A brilliant sense of motivation that gives you, a strong sense of confidence going into the cup final next weekend against Inverness. Did you want to talk us through that game for us?
Yeah. Obviously, the starting lineup was back to full strength.
Yeah.
After my absolute meltdown watching the Hibs game.
Was Scott Bain in between the sticks?
Oh, mate, he just.
Oh, okay. Stay away. So I've just started him off again.
Please, for the love of God, never let him play again.
I had to leave a few bits in last week, just so you know, like.
But so obviously back to full strength, and it was a bit of a, we knew Aberdeen were going to come. They were going to low block. They were going to try and counter attack with Duke up top. Miofsky was injured, which was fortunate for us because Duke and Miofsky have been fantastic for Aberdeen, especially since Barry Robson's took over. So he was injured, and they didn't really get a lot of service up to him. We were all right in the first kind of phase of the game. First 20 minutes we were okay without really doing much, and then Callum plays a great point to Greg Taylor, who's sort of in that inverted wing back role, and he's about 20 yards from goal. Plays a lovely little slight ball to Kyogo. He's in. He kind of fakes and drags back. Cruyff turns, hits it with his left foot into the top corner. And then, we were off. The party had started, and then we were just on top. Callum McGregor has a shot from the edge of the box. Kyogo follows it in 2-0, and at that point, it was going to be comfortable. Kyle Starfelt obviously got on the score sheet, which was I love Starfelt. I'm one of those people that thinks he's a brilliant defender. Yes, he's a bit of a bum scare on the ball, but I really like him.
I think every centre back has their moments, I don't know.
Maybe that's just an affiliation with Sweden and Celtic, and he gets a little bit of a Bible. But of the worry being that Kyogo hobbled off, so we haven't really I haven't seen the update on the injury, so hopefully he's fit.
I did hear about that. Yeah,
for the final. But O comes on and scores 2, so obviously shows what he's all about. Jota got an assist, and then the last one, Jota hits the bar from a free kick, and O follows it in. So overall, good performance. It's important on Trophy Day to really light up the place and back up a performance with the atmosphere. The tifos, the full stadium tifos was brilliant. So massive shout out to, I'm sure, the Green Brigade and the boys or whoever sorted that. It was fantastic, and we delivered. Wanted Ange Postecoglou in his post-match speech to the crowd to give a little bit of a Leonardo DiCaprio and just be like, "I ain't fucking leaving! I ain't fucking leaving!" He didn't do that.
Especially his wonderful Australian accent. Pakistan's gotta be fucking skeets can.
But he was talking more so about the final next week, and you just worry. You just have Brendan Rodgers in the back of your head whenever these links don't go away. So hopefully Tottenham will just employ someone very quickly and leave Ange Postecoglou alone. But we'll see. Obviously, with the big one next week to go and secure the treble. Nice to get back in form, get that over the line, and get the season, like you said, get the season done and dusted. Bank the treble, and then we can start to look. But yeah, it was solid 7 out of 10. We were far too good for Aberdeen, but Aberdeen, in all honesty, they didn't really come. It felt like they didn't really come with a lot of ambition to get forward.
Mm-hmm.
So it was what it was. But yeah, nice to win on Trophy Day. get that done, get back in form, get minutes into, the boys that are inevitably going to be playing. Alistair Johnston also went off, so I don't know how serious that is as well, because he returned to the starting lineup.
Oh, he did. I saw he was back in training. I didn't know if he was going to be fit to start against Aberdeen.
Yeah, he started, but he did come off. So hopefully, again, he can recover through the week, and we can go and put on a performance, and hopefully, with the historic kind of trauma of Cali Thistle at Hampden in cup finals, hopefully we can get the job done pretty swiftly in the first half, and it won't be a tense affair. But it's going to be a tough game. Obviously there's going to be a lot of Celtic fans there. Just with the way it is, I think they've only sold 6,000 tickets at the moment in Inverness, so there's going to be a lot of Celtic fans in attendance. So it'll be a big atmosphere, and it's all about the players rising to that and making sure that we complete the domestic treble, 8th domestic treble. For Celtic would be a world record. So there's a lot there, but certainly the season we finished it patchy, but 99 points, fantastic season. It's just about now going and securing, the 5th trophy out of a possible 6th for Ange Postecoglou since he's come in. So hopefully he gets that, and then he wants one last crack at the Champions League, and we get to retain him for a season, and then if he goes in the summer, I'll go with everyone's best wishes. That the job he's done has been fantastic, but hopefully he'll stay around for another year, and we'll get a crack at the Champions League, and continue the domestic brilliance that we've had for the past 2 seasons.
Yeah, 100%. No, and I'm looking forward to, touch wood, that things do turn out in Celtic's favour, and we can sit here next Monday and obviously crack open a cold one and celebrate another domestic treble for the boys in green. Hopefully another beautiful tifo to look at as well at Hampden Park, if you're allowed them in, that is.
Yeah, you are. I mean, I don't know. I know that there was a lot of expense went into the full stadium one, so I'm sure they may have something planned. But we'll see. But hopefully we just get the job done. Obviously, it's not easy when you go in as such huge favourites, but hopefully we'll get that done and dusted.
Awesome, good stuff. Well, I mean, I feel like we've covered everything. Before we get into some tic-tac-toe shenanigans, like I said, like next Monday we'll pretty much be covering all the cup finals that are coming up. So of course you got the Celtic Inverness Scottish Cup final, we got the FA Cup between City and United, and then of course you got the cup finals of the European competitions that take place during the week of next week. So we'll have the West Ham Fiorentina in the Conference League. There'll be Sevilla and Roma, I believe, that are in the Europa League final.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the big one, City and Inter. So they're really...
That's the following week after, isn't it? So,
is it the following week? Okay.
Yeah, West Ham's on like the 7th. And then, so it'll be like cup final, the domestic cup finals next week, and then the European stuff after that.
Yeah, we're running out of games to cover.
We are. We're closing in.
The end is near.
On season 2, it's mad that we've been going now for 2 seasons, but we're closing in on season 2 for ourselves, which has been long, and we've had ups and downs. I mean, Wales at the World Cup was brilliant. Watch-alongs obviously didn't go as well as we would have liked, but we've also had fantastic season for Celtic and Cardiff, obviously maintaining their championship status, and hopefully next season we'll be talking about Celtic kicking on again, but Cardiff putting themselves upwards in the right positions.
Well, fucking kick up the arse if anything for Cardiff, like.
Oh.
Let's crack on with a bit of football tic-tac-toe. So, do you want to? I don't know if you wanted to share the screen, or shall we just? Did you want me to have my own open so I can keep track, or?
Yeah.
Did you want a screen share?
I'll not share the screen because it'll look like in year 2.
Okay. All right. Okay. What I'm gonna do, I'm actually gonna like sort of color code mine. So
Yeah,
So I'm going to
I've
use
selected.
mine in green ink for your answers, and I'll put mine in blue ink or
That's
turquoise, as
exactly
paint says.
that's exactly what I've done. A little breakdown, I guess, for anyone that hasn't seen tic tac toe. It's basically just football noughts and crosses. So I'll pick three categories. You can have a club, country, or cup competition, a winner of the cup competition trophy, and then Morg will pick that, and then you have to match up. So if Morg said Cardiff and I said Celtic, then where they meet on the grid, we have to say someone that's played for Cardiff and for Celtic. So yeah, I obviously went first in the trial run. I'll let you
You
go
did.
first.
Right, so how are we going to determine this? Are we going to see? I mean, best of three, I guess we can do.
Yeah, I think we just need to be if we're stuck, we maybe just need to say stalemate a little bit quicker than
Yeah,
what we did
yeah.
before.
Then instead of 45 minutes later. All right. Okay. So I'm trying to think. Okay, what did you go for last? I'm just going to go for a nation straight away. I'm going to go with Belgium.
Belgium. And just because it's me, and they'll probably be prominent in most of them, I'm going to go for Celtic.
Celtic. Perfect in the green as well.
Okay, so your second one.
Second one, I'm gonna go with Europa League.
So a Europa League winner. Okay. Um, I'm going to go for Roma.
Roma. Okay, for me, I am going to go with Crystal Palace.
I'm going to go for a Premier League winner.
Premier League winner.
Yep, so you have the honours, so you can go first.
Right, so I'm going to start off with the one I've announced that I knew already. So, Belgium and Celtic, I'm going to go for a fan favourite in Bolingoli.
Correct. Alright, so you've gone Bolo. I'm just going to put Bolo.
Bolo.
Bolo, go fuck away. Grand. So let's have a wee think. Belgium, Roma. I know this is where it starts. You start to second guess yourself because there probably is an easier one than this. But I'm gonna go Morales. Kevin Morales.
Kevin Morales. Oh,
Oh, well, we will fact check it.
we're going to fact check it.
Shit, he didn't play for him. Fuck.
Ah! Right, I'm going to go Roma in Belgium. Raja Nainggolan.
Yeah, that'll do. Nainggolan. Belgian Premier League winner, so we'll just cover you off with Vincent Company.
Beautiful.
Back to you.
All right then. Celtic Palace, Joe Ledley.
Joe Ledley. Now, rack my brain. Do I know someone that's won the Europa League and played for Celtic?
It's a tough one, that, isn't it? So we're basically just trying to think of Sevilla players that may have played for Celtic and Roma.
Slim pickings.
You know what I mean?
Just to keep it going, I'm gonna go a little bit different. And see, because I don't think you're gonna get Europa League player that played for Celtic. So I'm gonna go for Europa League and Premier League, and this is I don't know if this is right either. I don't know if he was there. This is a bit risky. I'll go Jesus Navas.
Jesus Navas for Europa and Premier League winner.
Yeah, let's have a
Oh, when
look.
he was at
He's
City,
honest.
yeah.
Let's have a look. Honours. What do you have? He has a Europa League. And he has a Premier League.
Oh, he's got it! I was about to say David Luiz for that one because he won it with Chelsea and won the Prem with them, didn't he?
Oh, fuck David Luiz.
Yeah. All right, you're in. Oh shit! I've got to cut you off now.
With a player that has won the Premier League and played for
Shit.
Crystal Palace.
Shit. Okay. Right.
Oh, I don't know. Was he there? I'm
nervous now. I'm going to say Jeffrey Schlupp. Played for Leicester, hopefully for when they won the league, and now plays for Palace.
That is niche. Yeah, Premier League champion.
Oh, you fucking beauty.
That is brilliant. The one I was going to go for was the French centre-back Sacco. Did he win it?
That's who I was thinking of. No, he didn't win it with Liverpool. Didn't win it.
So you've got two ways that you can obviously win there. You've got Roma Palace or you've got Roma Europa League.
Yeah.
Now, what do I think you're less likely to know? I think you'd be able to. I think you'd be able to dig out a Roma Crystal Palace player, but I also think you'd be able to dig out a Europa League winner and Roma player. And I'm struggling for a Roma Crystal Palace player to ping to mind. So I think I have to go for the middle and say Mkhitaryan.
Oh shit! No, maybe he has won it. No!
He definitely plays for Roma now, doesn't he? Well, he plays for Inter Milan now. But did he win it at United? Europa League, Henry Mkhitaryan. Yes, he has.
You've broken my heart there.
Right, who did you have?
Chris Smalling.
Yeah, he was.
Oh, you've absolutely broken my heart there.
So
I've got to name Roma and Palace then. Okay.
Or you can name a Europa League
winner, yeah.
Which I'm struggling. You've got a lot of ways to win. Just really difficult.
Yeah, I know. Oh my god, I can't believe he got that. Shit. Okay, so we calling that one a stalemate.
Yeah, so we draw that. Right, so let's go for just because it keeps it niche and different and interesting. I'll just stick with my team and I'll just say Celtic first.
Celtic, okay. I'll go Cardiff for my one.
Right, so we will go. We'll do like a nation. We'll do England then, just so it isn't crazy.
England, okay.
Yep, you're next.
I'm going to go... Again, I'm going to be quite easy on this. I'm going to go FA Cup winner.
FA Cup, and then the last one we'll do Newcastle. And then your last one?
And then I'm going to go Bundesliga. So
Bundesliga winner. I should make the Celtic row virtually impossible again. Beautiful. So I don't suppose you'll struggle in any way, shape, or form to get the FA Cup Celtic, but I'll cover off the Cardiff Celtic one just so that you can't say it, and I'll say Tony Watt.
Tony Watt. Right. I'm gonna go. So. Wait, that has played for England?
Yeah.
Okay, so Cardiff and England, Jay Bothroyd.
Yeah, that's what I would have gone with. English and FA Cup. And say Wayne Rooney.
Rooney.
So now can I rack my brain? I think of someone that's won the Bundesliga and played for Newcastle.
Won the Bundesliga and play for Newcastle. Why the fuck did I put Bundesliga? Most ridiculous decision. I mean, I could have cancelled you out if I said La Liga. I could have gone Kieran Trippier, and then that would have been that. Okay. Right, Bundesliga and Newcastle. I'm trying to think if there's any other randy teams that have won it.
No, not really.
No.
Bayern and Dortmund.
Bayern and Dortmund. Well, I think just to get something on the board here, to win the Bundesliga and play for England, I'm going to say Owen Hargreaves.
Yep. I don't know. This is an absolute stab, but I don't know if he ever played for Newcastle. I know that he did go round a little bit after he left Liverpool. Diet Harman.
That is such a great guess.
Bundesliga with Bayern Munich 93, 94, 96, 97. And right, let's go back then to club Newcastle.
Oh, he's pulled it out the bag! Fucking hell! Didi Harman. Bravo.
That is a point. 1-0.
That is a point. We'll come back next week. We'll get another few rounds in. I don't know how we're going to make it work if we have Cam with us, but I'm sure we'll find a way around it.
Alright. Winner stays on or something.
That's it, yeah. Winner stays on. That sounds like a perfect setup, actually. I like that. Yeah, and on that note, we're going to wrap things up. Mayhem, pleasure as always. Thank you very much for joining me this evening. It's been a lot of fun.
You're not touching on Mike pipping you to the fantasy title.
No, we're not talking about it. No, I don't know. No, I'm not talking about it. Fucking point. 1 point. 1 point. 1 pissing point. Do you know how fucking fuming I've been all day about that? I'm really not fucking happy about it. I'm fucking outraged about it. Lead the way, like I was so confident, like, oh, last day, don't need to worry about it. I fucked up using my free hit as well, because the free hit allows you to make as many transfers as you want. Fucking dumb cunt here, fucking clicked confirm twice, so I didn't get to make any transfers at all.
Nick Pope's done you dirty, mate.
Well, what's his face? I had the Villa keeper on the bench and he wasn't playing either, so I was in the shit there regardless. Kieran Trippier fucking done me dirty with his pissing own goal against Chelsea. No, I'm not happy about that. I'm not talking about it. What we should be talking about is that Sam finished last. And he's getting a Spurs kit on the way. Am I getting a kit of my hated team? Nah. I'll happily take missing out on winning it by a point any day of the week.
That was funny though.
Yeah.
There wasn't a cup for us, was there?
No, I don't think there was a cup. We'll have to see if we can get that set up next year.
Oh wait.
Was there?
I ran out in the quarterfinals. How'd you see?
What? What's this? Hang on, I haven't seen this yet either.
Semi-finals. Joe will play. Oh, Joe was in the final.
Cups. Hang on, let's have a look. Football.
Well, it wasn't any of us. It was Stephen Aguirre. Well done to you, Stephen.
Oh, I lost in the semi-final to him. Bravo! I knocked Cam out in the quarter-final though. Ha! I've got a bye in the round of 16.
So you choked the cup and the league, mate.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, happy days. Cool. Right. Yeah. Pleasure as always, mate. Thanks for being with me this evening to lift my spirits.
That's what I'm here for, mate.
Someone has to. Ladies and gents, as always, thank you very much for tuning in tonight. If you are new to the Football Booth podcast, you can check out all episodes over on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Audible, and other audio platforms. If you'd like to check the live recordings, you can head on over to our YouTube channel at the Football Booth. Whilst you're over there, drop a like, drop a comment, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and ring that bell for notifications. And until next week, ladies and gents, I bid you all good night and Nostar.